So we're just back from running the car at the Gas Awards in Mary last weekend, which was the 24th of April 2022. Thankfully we were able to get that meeting in before the end of the season. With all the COVID mumbo jumbo going on, a lot of the events that we would normally attend have been pushed out, cancelled. But this one they were able to sneak in before the ground temperature got a bit too cold, which can be a big issue for our car. We were able to get the day over and done with in between a few light showers. But boy, what a day. It was fantastic. Huge crowd, huge field of cars, lots of gases of course, because that's what the flavour of the day was. But plenty of front engine dragsters, right down to 4-cylinder, four pot Fords from the early 1900s, and 2 Nitro Funny Cars.
Get the show on the road.
So we were lined up to match race against Michael Franklin in the Nitro Hoon 57 Chevy Outlaw Funny Car. What a bit of kit that thing is. It's come out of the Aeroflow Nitro Funny Car stable in Australia, and Michael has recently imported it. It's a real deal and a step above us, but we gave him a good run for our money. So it was a tricky day for us, not knowing exactly how much traction we were going to get out there on the track. It's an important part of running a car like ours. You can make all the horsepower you want, but if you can't put it on the ground, you're going nowhere. And you kind of only get one shot at it. In the pits, you have to throw a dart at a dartboard basically and decide what setting you're going to put the clutch at. For us, we were taking weight off. We wanted to chew the clutch up a little bit out into the run and hopefully maintain traction. Which we were able to do when we launched. It launched hard, even there's a photo out there with the wheels off the ground, which is pretty impressive. But from half track on, we lost traction and there's 2 black stripes right through the finish line, but it was an awesome run. So at the start of the day, we warm the car up, generally a couple of hours before we take it out on the track. And we go through a set procedure of checks to make sure that everything's working well. This was the first time we'd run the car since we rebuilt the transmission. Last time, which was 12 months ago when we ran the car, we lost reverse, broke the reverser inside the transmission, and the whole thing was rotating around inside the gearbox, gouging out the housing. So we put that back in, we fired the car up, went through the forward reverse, high, low, all that sort of stuff. It was working good. We always start off by putting a bit of petrol in the hat to fire it, and then we warm it up on methanol for a few minutes, get a wee bit of heat in the motor, and when it's warm enough we switch it over onto nitro, and that's when the party starts. So part of the warm-up procedure is to set the clutch, and you'll quite often see us pull the handbrake on, whack the throttle a couple of times, and it just beds the clutch in, which can help a car launch. And we also have it running the same fuel mixture in the warm-up as we will on the track on that given day. So last weekend we were running 90%, and we were hoping to get up into 92% later in the day, but the weather kind of put an end to that. So first run out on the track, we knew that we were going to have to be on our game. Michael's Nitro car is exceptionally quick, and we had nothing other than perhaps speed him off the line as an advantage. So I put all my focus into drilling the lights, and it worked. We cut a good light, managed to get a bit of a lead out off the start line, and then by the time we're at half track, he was mowing me down, as well as the timing cone in the middle, which he sent across. And an interesting fact out of that is that my time slip shows the half track mile marker is 0 in his lane. It'd normally be about 160 mile an hour for us. 0 in his lane and 560 miles an hour in our lane. And that was the speed of the timing cone, I think, flicking across into our lane, which thankfully missed our car, but put on a good show. So from half track on, we were pretty much drifting around, and we laid 2 black stripes to the finish line. Michael was fighting to keep it off the centre line, which he'd already gone over anyway, so pretty much handed us the win. He ran through at 6:50, we ran through at 7:20, but that was a win for us. So the second run when we went out, unfortunately Michael wasn't able to front. He'd had some mechanical damage and wanted to save the car for another day, which is a smart move. So we decided to go out there and wind it up a wee bit. By this time the heat had come round a little bit in the day, so at this time of year you get a very narrow window of heat that will work to activate the traction compound and allow the car to stick under acceleration. And this was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so perfect time. The sun was out, and we were able to launch the car pretty hard and run it through reasonably straight. All the way through, nosed over on the top end, which we think is still a fuel mixture issue that we're working on. Actually, it was too fat rather than too lean, so no damage from that. But it still recorded 684, which was our best ET, so we were pretty happy with that. So after the second run, we were getting ready for a third. We were pretty amped up with that PB. We wanted to knock the nitro percentage up to about 93, 92. Always get a hard time from the crew because I'm a bit too eager. But yeah, we were going for 92, honest. And unfortunately, the weather packed in and we didn't get a chance to run. But in the process of servicing the car, getting it ready, we found some bearing material in the filter. So explored that a little bit further, yanked the sump off, and sure enough, we'd run a bearing. So time for the motor to come out, ship it down to Invercargill, go through it. And there was a bit of discussion amongst the crew as to when we last did that, and nobody seems to know exactly. But I think pretty sure it was when we had an explosion at Masterton several years ago. That was the last time the motor came out, and we really did anything to it. So well overdue for a service anyway. And we'll go through it and see if we can get it back out there on the track as soon as possible. So all in all, that was a fantastic day. We were thrilled to be invited to be part of it. We love going along to the nostalgia meetings where there's just a very relaxed atmosphere. Everybody's there to have fun, and the Gasser boys certainly know how to put on a good show. We love watching those cars just as much as anybody. The crowd goes home happy. A lot of people stopped by our pit on the way out the gate and thanked us for putting on a good show, and they also spoke very highly of the day in general. The number of cars that they saw pulling wheel stands, doing big skids, everyone having a ball, all the drivers walking around with smiles on their faces, the crew high-fiving each other. Just a fantastic day, and we can't wait to go back and do it again.